the fans have spoken and we've heeded their call. We've got one of the fan favourites in studio this weekend. That's none other than Lions captain Warren Whiteley. Warren, it's absolutely a pleasure to see you. You guys have had a phenomenal run. But before we start talking about the rugby, I know that in your student days you did a bit of graphic design. Is that true?
That is true.
You never had to tackle anybody, though?
No. Quite a creative family. My sister's a graphic designer, so yeah, art runs through the family. It's a bit embarrassing, but yeah.
So was that almost a real option for a career, something artistic?
It definitely was. Definitely was. You know, I think I came I spoke to my dad and asked him, you know, weighed the two options up, and I decided to go full bolt for rugby, you know, and luckily enough it worked out for me. But my sister's still a graphic designer and very successful at what she does.
Well, the Lions have had a phenomenal run so far this year, and led ably by Warren Whiteley, who's born in Durban as well. But he's not a beach bum. He's become one of the typical Joburgers as we take a look at what's happened so far this season. Some wonderful wins. Those in red, Warren, are the only two losses. And of course, you guys are importantly preparing for a tour. Is there a nice sense of optimism before the tour? I mean, it's very tough.
Definitely. I think the majority of the focus has been on the Sharks this week, and definitely we obviously still got the Stormers the following week. But there is a sense of excitement, being a young group. A lot of guys haven't toured before, so definitely looking forward to that.
Warren, do you think being an underdog, is it sustainable? You know, obviously your motivation is always, you know, no one gives you a chance. And do you think it's a sustainable strategy going into games, or what have you guys done differently?
I think, to answer your question, it might be sustainable for the first week or 2 weeks, but it's definitely not our motivation now. I think we've set a standard for ourselves, and we want to keep at that standard, and we were really disappointed with our performance last week, and rightfully so. We didn't stick to our game plan, and we want to rectify that this week at Ellis Park.
To me, you know, I think I haven't backed you once, unfortunately, sorry. But I think you've demonstrated that, you know, as you mentioned, that there's not a lot of big stars in the side, and you don't rely on anybody, you have to rely on each other. And I think that's very important. Now, I think that's why you've done so well. But as you just mentioned, last week you went away from your game plan. Why?
I think as a side we get very excited. We're a running side per se, and when we get excited we tend to make the wrong decisions, kick when we have to run, and the opposites as well. So I think we forced it a bit last week, and it cost us at the end of the day, and we've worked really hard to rectify that this week. What did
the coach say at half-time in the dressing room? What was the talk about? I mean, you were still well in the game, weren't you?
I think we were well in the game. It was 6-0 at that stage, and we could turn it around. And his big message was just to stick to the structure and the game plan, and unfortunately we didn't, once again.
But there certainly have been some wonderful strides that you guys have made, especially if I look at the scrum. I mean, the Lions scrum has been voted as, you know, amongst the best, if not the best in the competition. In fact, I think you guys share the top 2 spots as well. What is it that the front rankers have been eating? Is it something in the Joburg water? What's going on?
I think over the last couple of years, you know, there's been traditionally a strong scrum at the Lions. If you take JC van Rensburg, who's left a couple of years ago, who's done really well for the Lions, and now stepping in Julian Redlinghuis, along with Skalk, or Haunt as we like to call him, and they've done really well. And also don't underestimate the strength of Willie Weppener at hooker, and our back 5, we really try and bring the pressure, and also Robbie Kutsia, at hooker as well. So I think the most important thing for us is that it's a unit, and we try and focus on all 8 of us and 16 feet on the ground, and that's really important for us, and it's been working well for us this year.
Well, eye on the Sharks. For you as captain, it's a nice battle. I teased a little by saying it's the best kicking completion side against the highest scoring side in Super Rugby. But, I mean, we know Marnus has been great, but if you take on a team like the Sharks, maybe not very expansive, it seems from the outside when they play, but they managed to put a lot of points on the board.
Yeah, I think the most important thing when playing against the Sharks is to minimize your mistakes. They capitalised really well on your errors, and they did so when we played them in Durban. I think they scored 3 brilliant tries on turnover ball. So I think that's really important for us this week to stick to our game plan and minimise our mistakes.
How do you plan on handling the Sharks on their, obviously, on your attacking breakdown? There seems to be an area that they've done very well. 15 features basically on the field and they make it difficult. How do you plan on handling that in their power game also?
I think we just have to be accurate. I mean, like, it's really important. To get any go forward ball against the Sharks, you have to be extremely accurate within the ball carry. So you have to pump your legs, get over the advantage line, and then obviously your cleaner as well. Marcel Coetzee has been doing exceptionally well this year in the fetcher role, and as you mentioned, they got 15 guys who can steal. So the breakdown is going to be a really important part of this weekend's game.
You know, the way I look at it is that, you know, the Sharks have dominated because they're very, very structured. A bit like you guys, they are structured, but they in that game that they played last time against you, they made the most of the opportunities. This week, if you keep them down, I mean, it should be a close game, shouldn't it?
Just very quickly, as we take a look at that Sharks side, Marcel Coetzee is a man that you've highlighted and certainly has been one of the star performers for the Sharks this season. No changes at all to the starting lineup. In fact, the only one is on the bench with Paul Jordan over his injury. And I suppose for you guys, it makes it easier because you know them very well. You've played them already this season. But Warren, you guys, if you take a look at Aka's team, only one change really.
Yeah, Derek Minnie comes in. We're very excited to have him back. Outstanding character. I mean, he's been at the Lions for a number of years and brings great energy and competitiveness to our side. And yeah, he's a die-harder and he'll fight till the end.
Very quickly, because of that change, Jacob Kriel drops to the bench. He's been phenomenal this season, but probably very very good for you guys to have him coming off the bench because he's got so much speed and puts in such an injection of pace when he does come on.
Yeah, I think that change is definitely not a performance change. I think Yaku's just having a rest this weekend and coach likes to rotate us loose forwards. So yeah, I think Derek is really excited. This week he's been raring to go. So yeah, we're really excited for the match.
The man who's been responsible for the majority of points you've scored this season, Derek, Boshoff, Martinus Boshoff, I'm thinking Derek Minnie now. He doesn't kick that well. No. But Martinus has been absolutely phenomenal this season. And I don't know, when I speak to the Lions guys, they always say it's irrelevant whether he plays with a 10 or a 15 on his back. Where do you guys prefer to have him, a 10?
Oh, he's a fantastic talent. You know, Martinus, really humble. And he's playing fantastic rugby, and he's been doing so since last year.
Yeah, look, you know, by watching the style of play, you know, you've got some really good players who are really punching above their weight, aren't they? But the thing is, they don't get out of control. They get on and do their job. And you know, you can, after the last time you played the Sharks in Durban, you know, when they changed those players, you guys were right back in the game. So I think, you know, as you said, you've got some good bench plays, but when they come on, they've got to make an impact, don't they? They've got to add something to the team. Is that part of the structure, or the coach what they want is when the guys come on, do they actually try and impact, or they just follow the orders? Or
I think definitely have to make an impact on the game, especially if you look at a Shark side and the quality that they have. I mean, we have to play for 82 minutes, not just the 80. So we've got a strong bench this weekend, and coach is definitely looking for them to come onto the field and make a difference.
Well, there was an avalanche of comments when people found out that Warren Whiteley was going to be in studio. He's a really popular guy, Alma.
Yes, so much admiration from
blush,
both
Warren.
male and female viewers, loving having Warren Whiteley on the show.
She even got dressed in red because
I figured, you know, I'd get on board, and at least I'm going to be there on Saturday night, so I figured I'll start the build-up so long. Okay, so we've got a question from a viewer that we'd like to pose to you, Warren. Sean wants to know, with such a good start to the Super Rugby competition, do you as a group change your goals? Have you got newfound belief? Where do you think you guys are going with this season?
I don't think we've changed our goals. I think it's really important to stick to our plan, which is take each game as it comes in each week. But we've definitely set a standard, which is something that we would like to keep every single weekend. We dropped that standard last week, and we definitely want to pick it up this weekend. Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of hope among Lions fans everywhere. They've been long suffering and they've stuck with you. We've got some more comments from people. As we said, the avalanche was quite considerable. Yanita, I had a long message for you, but it basically comes down to the fact that they just want to congratulate you. Very proud. Forget the Crusaders game. It's under the bridge. It's over. Play for yourselves as a team, the pride of the jersey, and your fans, the result. or the game still has to be played. It's all still ahead of you. And then Peter says, with no superstars and 1 or 2 box, you guys have certainly proved that sheer willpower and hard work goes a very long way. He says, keep on playing for each other, and for all those fans who stood by you in the dry years, have fun on tour. So, very happy Joburgers all around.
Well, before we let you go, Warren, I've got just one last question, because you delved into sevens for just a short while, I think at the end of 2012. Was there a little bit of temptation to try and gun for a place in the Olympics?
Definitely, I think there's still temptation. It's a fantastic side. They've been playing some great rugby, and it's a great bunch of guys. But I really enjoy myself here at the Lions and in Joburg. My family's up here, friends, and been loving it at the Lions at the moment. I think the culture that Coach Johan Ackerman has created is great for the players, and we thrive within that culture, you know. And we're really excited to be back in Super Rugby, and we're really grateful to be there. And we just want to keep performing well, and we were disappointed with last week, but I know that we'll rectify that.
Have you invited Owen for a jersey handout yet? He tells me he's waiting for the invite. This isn't going to happen anytime soon.
We'll invite him.
Organize it. You guys are winning. You got to, come on, just once.
That's why they're winning, Jimmy.
We'll invite him anytime, you know. Owen is a great guy and get along really well with him.
Did he pay you to say that?
No, he didn't.
Do you think that in your position as captain, do you think your 7 skills have really helped as well to... Because obviously you've been out for a long time in the competition, but you guys have played. Do you think that's really enhanced the way you play?
I think as a young player, going to play sevens early on in your career is a great option. I think the amount of skills training that you're exposed to is exceptional. You know, learn to run in space, when to offload, passing from both hands. It's a great game, and I really enjoyed my time there and enjoyed the guys.
That's excellent.
Warren, you spoke about the culture under Johan Ackerman. What would you say the Lions' identity is? You know, every team speaks about culture, yes, and all of that. But what would you say if you're a youngster and you said come to the Lions? What would you sell to them?
I think if I could sum it up in one word, and it's something that the guys brought up a couple of weeks ago, is brotherhood. You know, we're a really close group, and we care about each other. You know, we spend a lot of time together being in Joburg. We come in the early mornings and spend the majority of the day together before leaving in the afternoons, and it's a great brotherhood. We enjoy each other's company, play cards during the day, joke around. It's fantastic. It's a great environment.
Well, Warren Whiteley, thanks very much for joining us. Sevens player, great 8th man captain, all-round nice guy. And we got him to blush. He's almost the same color as his shirt.
Graphic designer?
Graphic designer, I missed one as well. I mean, the list goes on.